Hey friends, it is Veronica here to talk to you about overcoming procrastination as I do it with you. So I have been thinking about doing a blog post about procrastination as I realized that I have totally broken my promise about having a YouTube channel, having videos coming out all the time, and I've done a few, and then there's always a good reason. There's always a good reason not to. So I've been procrastinating majorly on making videos. So as I make this video for you about my best advice to overcome procrastination, I hope that you can see this as a journey that we're taking together, because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Which brings me to my first tip. You might notice that my hair is wet. This is not a style thing. This is because the idea for this video came to me as I was in the shower. I mean, I just worked out. It is 10:30 at night right now. It is much too late to be making a video. My hair's too wet. I have so many other things to do. I mean, the excuses were paramount. And I'm doing it anyway. And that's really what's important. It's to start before you're ready. Realize that readiness as a feeling comes from doing something, right? If you do something on a regular basis, then you're going to have these urges to do it, and then you're going to follow through on doing it right about as often as you do it. I mean, I don't procrastinate on writing, and I'm sure that there are things that you don't procrastinate on either, because they're just so much a part of your routine. You're so used to doing them. You get the urge, you do it, and then you go. Maybe these are bad habits, but they're routines nonetheless. And it's just a pattern. It's a mental pattern of getting a thought and then saying, you know what, that thought's worth following. That's worth doing. And then after you do it, after you start it, I mean, I already feel so much better. I'm here, I'm making this video. After you start, it's everything's just downhill from there. So that's tip number 2, right? After you start, it's going to be better. Trust that. Keep that in mind, okay? Keep in mind that as soon as you take the first step, everything's going to get better. All you have to do is to show up. So how does that work? Okay, that only works if you use tip number 3, which is to stop expecting it to be perfect, okay? Your perfectionist tendencies are probably what's keeping you from procrastinating, right? You think, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna have to do it perfectly. So when I picture myself doing videos, I picture like perfect lighting, and I picture being in the sun with lots of nature behind me, and I'm really happy, and it's the beginning of the day, and I have so much time and so much energy, and I just wake up in the morning and I say, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna make like a dozen YouTube videos, and it's gonna be really fun. That's all I'm gonna do today. That's gonna be my task. And that never happens. It never happens because real life gets in the way, and there are always excuses. There are always other things to do. Perfection's not going to happen. I could also expect perfection in the form that it comes in. I could say, oh, I want to wait until I get a really high quality camera, high quality microphone. Right now I'm using my laptop's camera, and the last time I did this, it just did some really weird stuff to the video quality in the middle of it. So I could say, oh, the video quality is not going to be good enough. Plus, wet hair. So many reasons, right? Just realizing that those reasons are always going to be there, and saying, you know what, I'm not going to expect perfection from myself. It's like the old phrase goes, done is better than perfect. I'm not even talking about done. I'm talking about starting is better than any kind of perfectionism, is better than any of these ideas, because that's what perfectionism is. It's an idea. They're these idealisms that you have in your head, and they're just as bad as anxious thoughts. Idealism, anxiety, fear, anxiety, they're just two sides. They're like two paths leading off of reality. Reality is somewhere here, and then you've got idealism on one side and you've got fear on the other. You got to walk that path. You got to walk the middle path of actual reality and let it be whatever it is, okay? My next tip to you is about those voices, those perfectionist tendencies, okay? When you say, let's say you watch this video and you say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever, I'm going to go and reach out to that old friend, or start on the diet, or start working out, or make more friends, start a new career, write a book, whatever it is that you want to do. You say, okay, I'm going to do it. You have to expect those voices to show up. Whatever has been plaguing you, that has been stopping you from procrastinating, those perfectionist tendencies, don't expect that they're going to go away just because you're motivated, just because you're hopeful, just because you're inspired. Hope, motivation, inspiration, it's almost like that's another voice in your head, okay? The procrastination, the self-judgment, the perfectionism, that voice is going to be there, okay? At every single point of this journey of self-discovery and authenticity that I've been on, self-judgment and perfectionism, they've followed me around. And to me, healing hasn't been about eradicating those voices out of my head. Because to tell you the truth, the only way to snap your fingers and eradicate those voices out of your head is to get blind drunk. That's the only way, okay? I'm not interested in doing that. I hope you're not interested in doing that either. And just shutting it up. So unless you're willing to seriously self-medicate with one thing or another, you're not going to stop those voices, okay? Your job is to kind of create the heroes in your head that are going to face some of those inner villains, right? To create the amazing heroic journey that is you, that is going to be your life. So by expecting those perfectionist voices to show up, you're just expecting reality. Okay, if you say, okay, I'm going to wait until those voices aren't there, you're going to be very disappointed. If I make this video and then afterwards I say, oh, you know what, because I went out of my comfort zone and I didn't procrastinate and I did the good thing, I did the brave thing, that means that I'm not going to look back on this video and go, ugh, what was that? I would be very delusional to think that. I have been practicing perfectionism since I was a very young child. I think I was 5, 6, very young. And I only began my journey of self-discovery maybe 3, 4 years ago. So I've got a good 2 decades of practice being a self-judging perfectionist, neurotic, okay? That's a lot of practice doing something. So if I'm going to face reality as it is, then I'm going to have to accept the fact that those voices might show up, probably will show up. You know, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I get into a social situation, or I make a video, or I write something, or, you know, I step out of my comfort zone and the self-judging voices don't show up. It just doesn't happen because of an intricate mix of things, and what I'm doing afterwards, how hormonal I am, how well I've eaten, what time of day it is, you know, if I have to go on to another task, my mind gets distracted, I don't have time to judge myself. Or maybe immediately afterwards, somebody says something really kind to me, somebody compliments me, and then that ends up, you know, flooding my mindset. For whatever reason, sometimes they don't show up, but a lot of the time they do, and I expect that. And it's not a good enough reason to not start. And it is not a good enough reason to delete this video once I start thinking about how all the things that are horrible about it. Once those voices show up, for me it's afterwards. For you it might be beforehand. You know, you might have this kind of battle with self-judgment. It's telling you, don't do it. And you're going to say, yes, I'm going to. Maybe your battle's beforehand. My battle's afterwards right now. My battle used to be beforehand, and, you know, the more I walk on my journey, now it's after. So whenever you're fighting your battle, okay, just expect that that's going to happen, and just have it in mind. I'm going to start. I'm going to do it anyway. I can never be ready enough, okay? And the most important thing, while you do that, as you expect it, you have to have an answer, kind of for what those tendencies are going to tell you about what you're going to be capable of, right? What are you going to say? What's your goal? What are you going to do? What's going to be the outcome? What's going to be the result? What's the end? The end? The end? What's the end? How is this going to wrap up? You know, why would you just work out for 5-10 minutes? Like, what are you going to do? You have to do a good workout. You have to get prepared. You know, that's what those voices say. They try to make it into this nice, neat little package, right? It's the all or nothing mindset again, right? Perfectionism. Either I'm not going to work out at all, or I'm going to be like one of those YouTube fitness superstars that works out for 45 minutes 3 times a day, and everybody sees how fit I am, and everything's going to be so amazing and awesome. Or even, you know, I'm going to be in this great health and fitness routine that's so easy for me, and I'm going to be in the best shape of my life, and I'm going to hang out with people who are in shape, and I'm going to be dancing or rock climbing or doing whatever it is that I love to do, skiing, and I'm going to be doing it so much that I'm going to love it. Or I'm going to sit here and watch TV. Okay? Don't do that. Accept the imperfect offering. Okay? Just start and take whatever's happening today. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You want to write a book? You sit in front of a Word document with the cursor blinking at you, and you write one sentence, one idea, anything. That is a job well done. Because what you're doing is you're building habits. Now, as I said, you're only going to want to do something as often as you do it. Even if you say, okay, I really need to start doing more yoga. I need to start doing more meditation. And every time that you think about doing it, it just seems like too much, just so overwhelming. How am I going to do it? Where am I going to do it? Where am I going to go? Even if you set aside 10 minutes a day where you go and you sit in a certain place in your house and you say, okay, I am here thinking about doing yoga. I'm here considering the possibility of meditating. I'm going to be here for 10 minutes. That's how long I'm going to do it for. That is good enough, because that's going to snowball. The same way that bad habits snowball, good habits snowball. You make the time for something every single day, and you allow yourself to do it imperfectly, incompletely, just for however long it is that you do it for, and you let that grow, okay? You trust that it's going to expand, and you let it grow. And I think I've completely lost count of the tips. But as we come to what is going to be the end of this video, that was supposed to be very short, so I'm really practicing what I preach here. Like, everything is not as planned. What I'm going to do right after I make this video, and this part's really important, so please do this, even if everything else goes in one ear and out the other, and you end up waiting until you're motivated by a friend or a cousin or a spouse or your mom or dad or your kids to do it, and you start at that point, even if this video does nothing for you. When you start, when you do the thing, when you do your imperfect offering, when you do just a little bit, afterwards, just sit down, close your eyes, or even better, go look at yourself in the mirror, okay, however you want to do it, and say thank you. Just say thank you, okay? And that's it. So you just keep building those habits every single time that you do it, right? Every single time that you do it, it's going to get a little bit easier. You let it be a journey. And remember that this is an everyday thing, okay? So if you do it for like 6 days, and then for whatever reason, you miss a day, you miss another day, you miss another day, and then you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, what's the point? I've already broken it. Remember on that day, whenever you remember, you know what? It's better that I just do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I've left it behind for 3 days. It doesn't matter if I've fallen off the wagon. There's no wagon, okay? There's just every single day of your life and your relationship with what you ask yourself for, okay? Maybe you've seen, I'll give you a little link to the speech I gave about answering those desires from within yourself and how that relates to the emotions that you experience on a regular basis. So remember that every single time that you answer those desires that you have within yourself, every single time that you listen to what you really want, you are creating positive emotion within yourself. You're creating that self-thank you, right? You ask yourself for something, just like a parent and a child, the child asks for something, the parent gives it, the child is happy. That happens within you. When you ask yourself for things, you are getting in the habit of giving it to yourself. Okay, and this is kind of the pearl that's hidden in this haystack, because that's the metaphor I'm making. What's really the big pearl here is that procrastination, just as a feeling, just as a behavior pattern, it's just a schismed relationship with yourself, okay? And it's okay. It's okay to be at that point in your relationship. Maybe you're at that point in your relationship with some family member, maybe even like an ex, maybe your kids, maybe your parents, that kind of relationship where you think, I'm just not going to ask you for anything anymore because you don't care. You don't care about what I want. And we can all relate to that, and procrastination is just this little symptom of having that kind of relationship with yourself, where there's been enough times that you've had a certain thought and you said, let's do this, excited like a kid, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. And you said, no, 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 right? So if you think about this, the same way that you think about having a relationship with another person, every yes matters, okay? Every yes matters. Every single time that you say something to yourself and you say, hey, I really want to do this. Can we please do this? Every time you say yes, you make a difference. You make a difference to yourself. You make a difference to the people around you who need your energy. You make a difference to the people that depend on you, especially. And you make a difference to me, because we're really doing this together. I mean, I'm not reciting to you stuff that I read in a textbook about personal development or procrastination overcoming. I'm doing it with you right here, right now, okay? We're walking on this journey together. So please, you deserve to have good feelings with yourself, by yourself. Just because that relationship has fractured a little bit doesn't mean that you can't fix it. It doesn't mean that you can't put the love back into it, put the acceptance back into it, put the beauty back into it, put the spark back into it. And in fact, you have to, because unlike a partner or even a parent or even a child, it's hard to abandon a parent or a child. I think for a lot of people that seems unthinkable, but it's possible. But you can't really abandon yourself. For as long as you are here and you are alive on this earth, you are here with you, okay? So you might as well try to make that relationship into a good one. So start saying yes. If you get nothing else out of this video, please just start saying yes. Say little yeses. Say them in French. Say them today. Say them tomorrow. Any yes counts, okay? Say yes to yourself. Expect resistance, okay? Expect resistance and flack and bad feelings and pain and all of that stuff. It's gonna come, okay? Just remember that the good stuff is there too. And that's what makes it worth it, okay? Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that this inspires you to overcome whatever it is that you're procrastinating on. So please let me know. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how this video affected you, impacted you, if there's something you're gonna start working on, if there's something that you're gonna start doing. Tell me what it is. Tell me how it went. Come back, share your story. I'd love to hear from you, okay?